Good afternoon, everyone. I am Lovely Grace Sampaga from Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in English.
I am Jeffrey Casipit from Bachelor of Elementary Education.
And we are here to discuss about the discovery of spoon.
Spoons are used primarily for eating liquids or semi-liquid foods, such as soup, stew or ice cream, and very small of powdery solid items, which cannot be easily lifted with a fork, such as rice, sugar, cereals, and green peas.
The exact origins of the spoons are murky, though archaeologists do have fossils that assert Neanderthal cultures may have fashioned crude, spoon-like instruments out of seashells and animal bones. The first remnant of spoons, as we know them, were found in the ruins of ancient Egypt and harken back to 1000.
The earliest mentions of the spoon in England can be dated back to 1259, where King Edward's wardrobe accounts make mentions of spoons. Not only were spoons used as eating utensils during that time, but much like ancient Egypt, spoons are carried significance in ceremonies as a sign of wealth and power.
For as long as humans have been eating, they've needed an eating utensils to scoop up the food. Sometimes cupping up your hands just didn't do the trick, and that's when the spoon took its rightful spot at the table. Much like its fellow tabletop mates, the knife and fork. The design of the spoon is simple. Take a smaller version of a shallow bowl and attach a handle to it. Chanan! You've created a spoon. But the history of the spoon wasn't as simple as that.
The word spoon derived from cochlea in Greek and Latin, meaning spiral shell, because shells are often used as spoon early on due to their shape and size. It wasn't until bones were attached as handles that the spoon we know today began to really take shape. The earliest iterations of the spoon were made from materials that were most readily available to the ancient civilization that utilized them. Nearly every civilized part of the world used spoons in one form or another throughout history.
Historians can't determine the exact time the spoon was invented, but anthropologists can point to evidence around 1000 BC of spoon from ancient Egypt made from wood, ivory, flint, and stone, and adorned with hieroglyphics of religious symbols. These utensils were strictly owned by pharaohs or other deities. In other parts of the world, spoons from the Shang dynasty in China were generally made of bone. The ancient Greeks and Romans, specifically the wealthy ones, began fashioning spoons using bronze and silver. This continued up until the Middle Ages, where spoons would be crafted out of cow, horns, wood, brass, and pewter. If it could be shaped, it could be a spoon.
The earliest mentions of the spoon in England can be dated back to 1259, where King Edward's wardrobe account to make mention of spoons. Not only were spoons used as eating utensils during that time, but much like ancient Egypt, spoons carried significance in ceremonies as a sign of wealth and power. During the coronation of a British king, the newly appointed sovereign would be anointed with a ceremonial spoon. Pewter became the common material for spoon in the 14th century, making them more affordable for much of the lower and middle classes. The 15th century saw the only real variant of the typical design, a folding spoon that could fit in pockets for easy travel. One could argue it was the first grab-and-go utensil.
During the Tudor times in 16th century, sets of apostle spoons or spoons with an image of a saint or apostle at the end of the handle became common christening presents. Soon, christening spoons with materials that reflecting social classes were common for all walks of life. The wealthy were literally born with silver spoon in their mouths. The spoon saw several design changes throughout the Renaissance into the 18th century. It was then that modern design, a narrow elliptical shaped bowl with a rounded end of the handle, stuck for the centuries that followed. In today's food service industry, there are spoons for every type of preparing and serving need. Restaurants and other food service operations utilize spoon for consuming food, like savory soups or the candent getalo, mixing and stirring ingredients, and for measuring. The sides may vary, but the simple, yet sophisticated shape of the spoon remains unchanged. Thank you for watching.